Myths, hoaxes, pseudoscience, fake news, bullshit, promises too good to be true, they are everywhere, on any subject, in every corner of the internet and beyond. Yeah, even in the world of learning and studying. I always try in my videos to present to you helpful and concrete information that you can use to become better, but sometimes a little bit of clarity is needed. Sometimes you have to fight the bullshit. Well, let's do just that. In this video, I'll present to you the 5 biggest and most pathetic bullshit on studying. Fixed time for exams. I wanted to start with this one since it reaches a level of absurdity unprecedented. There are people suggesting a fixed amount of study time for whatever exam, test or assignment. Yeah, really. 1 week, 4 days, whatever, the same amount of study time is needed to prepare for everything. Do I really need to explain to you why this is complete bullshit? Really? Well, okay then. Imagine preparing for a test. You have to study a book of, let's say, 300 pages and it takes you a week. Then you have to study another book of 1000 pages for another exam. How much time you'll need? Roughly 3 times more. That's obvious, right? First grade math right there. Setting a standard amount of study time for any kind of learning task is ridiculous. It doesn't take into account comprehension, exercise, repetitions. It's almost disrespectful to our brain and its proper functioning, and it leads you to think that actually learning is not that important at all. The only thing that matters at that point is passing your exam at all costs. That's the perfect attitude to fail miserably. Speed reading, that's a classic. Speed reading in its numerous forms and techniques basically is pseudoscientific bullshit. That's what it is. It's skimming with another cool name, but the same old problems. Comprehension drops, decreased memory retention, and so on. I'll definitely make a more detailed video about that with all the scientific details. For now, just stay away from it and focus on comprehension and memory. Becoming faster while reading and studying in general is definitely achievable. Each phase of a learning method can be optimized. But is it possible to study in a fraction of time, preparing for exam in a couple of days without losing any quality, learn 3000 pages in 1 day? No, it's not. Period. Learning requires time, not only to get things done, but also to consolidate what you learned. That's why the concept of spacing is so important and cramming is dangerous. Studying too slow is not ideal, I agree, but studying in a rush is far, far worse. Stop looking for the shortcut, start working seriously with quality in mind. The 3 sensory learning styles. Thanks to the infamous NLP, Neuro-Linguistics programming, the idea of 3 different learning styles based on our senses spread out in the whole world. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Everyone possesses all the 3 styles but has a preferential one. This preferred style influences your way of thinking, speaking, moving and, of course, learning. That's very interesting. The problem is that it's completely false. No evidence at all for the 3 learning styles to exist or at least to work that way. Different way of perceiving reality, of thinking, speaking, different cognitive preferences do exist, that's for sure, but they're far more complicated than a single category out of 3 everyone belongs to. This scientist explained the whole thing much better than I could possibly do, so I'll link to her TED Talk in the description. Mnemonics. Wait a second, I too teach mnemonics in my courses and videos, so am I a scammer? Well, no. Actually, mnemonics do exist, they've been around for centuries, and they work, and they're also useful while learning. The problem with them is how they're being perceived and applied. This ludicrous idea spread out that mnemonics are, in fact, a study method, that you can learn entire exams with them, memorize hundreds of keywords out of your mind maps, use your memory palace to remember everything that was written in a book, and so on. That's nonsense. Mnemonics are precise tools with a narrow application. They are useful in remembering details and sequences, and that's it. You can learn names, difficult words, dates, codes, numbers, formulas, algorithms with them, and they're great at doing that. But that's not enough. Learning is not just remembering a bunch of names and details. Mnemonics cannot replace comprehension, exercise, repetitions, testings, and so on. Not at all. there are no effective learning techniques. There are many other silly ideas about studying I could have picked while writing this video, but I wanted to end with this one, the reverse bullshit. The idea that everyone is different and unique, and therefore there are no effective studying strategies beside building your own way of learning. This is as false as the rest of the bunch we've seen in this video. Of course, there are big individual differences amongst us, differences in taste, cognitive style, attitude, habits, way of thinking, way of using our intelligence, and so on. And those things do have an impact on how we learn, but we are much more similar than we are different. Cognitive tasks are regulated by biological structures. The way our brain works is similar. We were built by natural selection, and so at the level of the basic functioning of our mind, even in learning, we are all the same. The principles of effective learning work for everyone. What works for me has a high chance of working for you too. The differences manifest themselves in how we apply those principles, how we adapt them to our way of thinking, our preferences, and what we are learning. You start by building the foundation of the building, and then you worry about the color of the walls. And that was my list of the 5 biggest bullshit on studying. Now let me know in the comment section what do you think and what other pseudoscientific stuff you heard about learning. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video with all the students that could find it useful. I'm ADC, and this was True Learning with the best techniques and strategies for learning and studying effectively. We'll see each other next week, and till then, fight the bullshit.